This is Lansdowne, Irish football's most interactive podcast, and tonight we're talking about James McClean and his controversial appearance on RT's A Pundit during the week. He had a lot to say. Did he have a point? We're going to be talking about that. We want to hear from you about that as well. Plus, what next for John O'Shea? What next for the boys in green? It's England up in September. What are we going to do? This and more coming up on Lansdowne Roar. For the fans, by the fans. Very sorry about that there, folks. Slight technical hitch. I forgot to take my microphone off mute. This whole window has just been one gaff. Anyway, David Dunn here, joined by Martin Prendergast. We hope you are well, folks. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Lansdowne Roar Live, which is normally, if you're watching us for the first time during this window, especially over in Republic of Ireland Player Tracker, hello, by the way, on Twitter, we tend to wrap up the window normally a day or two after the final game, and this is it. But Martin, we've a lot to talk about here tonight, haven't we? But it's not just the window, it's certain Mr. McLean. He was very busy, wasn't he, in RTE? We'll get to that in a second. But how are you? You were on the red eye yesterday morning, were you?
I was red-eyed for most of the day, Dave. Yeah, great to be on. Fantastic support of the show as well over the window. So thanks again to everybody who's listened to the games. You know, we covered the Hungary game fantastically well from Lansdowne Road, and then we were both on our travels. There we are.
Apparently, I was very. What did somebody call me?
Was it me?
What did he call me? Not voluptuous. What was the other one?
Booby. Delicious. I don't know what it was.
Delicious.
Something like that. But that was one I thought we better get one together. Yeah, but no, we caught up with a lot of the Raw faithful and messages and stuff, and really good feedback from everyone who listens to the show.
Jason.
Myself and Jason. Geez, I look a bit bleary-eyed there, and I think that was only one beer in, to be honest, and that is true. No, but lovely spot, wasn't it, Vera? You were a bit there longer than I was, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, we'll obviously talk a little bit about the game, I'm sure, but it was a really nice spot. Any Irish fans I met said they were having a great time, and I mean, some of the Irish fans, I'll give a shout out to Nolan Devlin. He had his stag do there, combined it with an Irish trip, which fair play, and met Cole Chew, of course, a good listener of the show, and the secretary of Wrist London, and I met up with a lot of the Wrist London, obviously, members as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a long day because I was literally 24-hour one for me. So it was interesting because it was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it? Getting into the ground was a bit crazy. Getting out the ground was crazy. I mean, these stadiums are built in the middle of nowhere for the Euros, and I thought it was absolutely lethal. And like we basically, they stopped the traffic on the motorway leaving to get you in and out of the stadium, and
trying to get in.
Crazy.
Trying to get in, they had like places where there was supposed to be paths built, just like kind of dirt tracks, and they just had, it was just overgrown. I've got a big red mark. Probably can't see. Oh, big red mark there. See there?
Oh, got a license for them guns.
Where is it? Oh, I can't see because the microphone.
I can see it. Yeah. Oh,
big red mark. Absolutely cut. No, there you go for the lads. Get them out for the lads.
Yeah. But you didn't get any sun there, then, did you? Clearly. You go just red, would you?
I did, yeah. I went red. Yeah, I wasn't angry. I was just wasn't volatile. I was just, I absolutely, like, just got cut to shreds with the weeds and all that going up to it. Police officer just stood there. I just came out of this bush and he's just like, now typical Portuguese lad. It was that was, it was an interesting one. But of course we'll talk a bit about more of that when we get to the game. But I mean, James McClean, we're going to talk about that now. And before I do actually see some of the comments coming in there, guys, look, it's an open floor. We'll get to the comments. Have your say. Leave a comment and get involved. We're going to talk about, were you at the game? What was your experience like? Let us know. Plus, we're going to talk about James McClean. Did you see it? Did you see him in RT? I had it on the RT player watching in the stadium. I was a bit like, wow. He really let rip here. We're going to play some of those clips there. But tell us what you think, our lovely Roar faithful. Do you agree with James McClean? Going to play. You didn't see any of this, Martin, did you, when it was happening? You were obviously in the ground. So
yeah, I was in the ground. Yeah, so I didn't see any of it. No, and then obviously, like, just saw afterwards that look, he's gone in hard and maybe 2-footed. Would that be a football analogy to go in with?
Well, it certainly would be. Well, we're going to play a clip here. It's about it's 1 minute, just about 1 minute, and it's on this is him on RT punditry going on bemoaning the fact that we went from being a team hard to beat to a team, well, not so hard to beat. Well, have a listen. Tell us what you think.
But it's a trade that's served as well, and we qualified for 2 tournaments, Euro 2012 and 16, and we got the playoff under Mick McCarthy. Mm-hmm. So if Mick had been in charge, we potentially may have got the 3 in a row under that style of play. So I think nowadays you can get kind of sucked on the whole total football and statistics. Like, yeah, we had 59% possession, but a lot of it was across the back line, and we lost the game. Like, we've always been hard to beat, and I think in the last 3 years we've gone away from that. Like, that's what we've built our foundations on, hard to beat, and having a bit of nastiness about us. And then, because you're always going to get opportunities in game, and then we take the opportunity. So, no, hearing them comments and seeing the last 3 games we've played, we have become hard to beat again. Yeah. And I think that's, like you said, that's what our foundations are built on.
Well, I don't think we're too hard to beat. A couple of hours later in Aveiro. Just one thing before we start. Just want to correct what James McClean said, and Darren Maloney didn't correct him on it. Mick McCarthy did not get us to a playoff for Euro 2020. We had that playoff because of our performance in the Nations League under Martin O'Neill in the 2018 Nations League, where we lost. We got hammered and we got relegated, and because of the UEFA rules, they changed it. It was a 3-team group. They changed to a 4-team group, so we were put back inside. So Mick McCarthy did not get us to a play. Not having to go, Mick, just stating the facts. That was down to a very poor Nations League campaign. So just wanted to correct James McClean there. Yet again, Roar Faithful, see the comments coming in. What did you think of that? We're going to play 2 more clips in a second. But Martin, so he's a bit of a 2-foot challenge of Stephen Kenny there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know the comments coming through and stuff, and it's tempting to read them, and we know everyone's got opinions on these things, and we'll obviously cover the comments.
Oh, we'll get to those.
James is a very opinionated person. Has had whatever way you can. I don't really see it's an argument as to say, oh, he was mediocre, McLean, or he was, he was average at best. He should never have got 100 caps. Fact is, he did. He's always turned up for his country, and did very well. And we'll always have those mad moments. Obviously, being in the stadium, Wales and Austria away. He was our best player. He got Player of the Year, didn't he? He was our best player in one of them campaigins at least.
Yeah, but
he
why?
Was our main goal threat.
Is he ruining?
No, I'm just saying. Well, no. Well, I think what he's trying to do is he is getting his. He's getting his opinion out there. He's getting his, dare I say it, like a future career out of football. He's already been brought in as a pundit for the Euros on RTE. That's been revealed today as well. He's a very divisive character, as we know. But this is an indication, perhaps, of how some of the players have been feeling for quite a bit of a time. He's the first one. I mean, it's a very strange relationship, the Stephen Kenny thing with James McClean. He helped him, didn't he, back in the day in Derry. I was very uncomfortable watching the press conference when, they were talking about, how well he was done. It was actually a lovely moment. It was Stephen Kenny really showing a lot of emotion, as he is wont to do. But when he was talking about, I remember that, and McLean sitting there, it kind of shows a little bit of kind of falseness from kind of both parties in a way. I would say more on James's side in that media.
He didn't say any, the thing with James McClean, though, he didn't say anything there in the press conference. And, he said in a separate press conference with Tony O'Donoghue, which is actually later that day, or was the day after. And then he started going, I feel disrespected, I feel this, I feel that. I'm thinking, okay, why aren't you saying it there with the manager? You could say, well, I don't want to spoil the moment. Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference when a few hours later we have another press conference or an interview with Tony O'Donoghue being released. And go on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think important though, in the context of that, James McClean, the ending for him with Ireland and New Zealand was James revealed basically that he wasn't picked in that squad first, didn't he? Before Ireland even announced it. that one, the fun he was
So he
not
clearly
in,
took
and
it.
then he came back for New Zealand. So he wasn't happy. We know that. And then there was a bit of kind of reconciliation attempt by Kenny, and I think in that press conference saying what a fantastic career he's had. James clearly not happy. He's not let that go. He's done really well out of this punditry wise because everyone's talking about it. But he is going in on Kenny, and he's going in on the record. And
I think it lacks class. I think it lacks class.
Well, I think though it's
no,
it's not great, but again,
no,
I
it
think
lacks class, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, but like it, well, it's it does.
There's no,
but I think that's just I'm not surprised by that because of James McClean as a character with every other thing he's had in his career.
I just think it lacks class. He's
very volatile, isn't he?
He's had a fantastic career, 100 caps. I'm not going to get into that. We know what he's like as a player. Always wears his heart on the sleeve. Consummate professional on the pitch in terms of the way he looks after himself. He's abroad at the moment. Actually, saw his Instagram and he's off training, he's off running. So he's in phenomenal shape for somebody who's 34, 35. But he was, he signed for a team, Wrexham, fourth tier of English football. Fair play. I don't know if it was a big pay there or not. Whatever, grand. And then, Stephen, the manager, felt, well, look, fourth tier, I'm sorry, but that's a little bit. Third tier, maybe, but fourth tier, I can't really have that. And I think he threw his toys out of the pram a little bit about it. He had a fantastic send-off. He got to, on his 100 cap, he got to captain the side. It was against Gibraltar. He played well against Gibraltar, by the way. Gibraltar, to be fair. And then he got to, he got a fantastic send-off at TV at Lansdowne Road. And he went out on his own terms. You look at some of the players that didn't go out on their own terms. Ronnie Whelan's last game against Ireland was the 3-1 hammering, the Harry's Challenge game, because he got booked, second yellow card. Ronnie Whelan, Roy Keane, his last game was the game against France. Kevin Kilban never got a phone call from Trapp. That was it. He was done. And I think he broke the record for playing the most competitive matches consecutively. Never even got a phone call from the manager. So, I don't know why he's putting the boot in here, whether he's right or wrong. Well, anyway, I see the comments coming in there. We're going to get to the next clip. Do you think he lacks class, James McClean? What he's saying? Do you think he's putting the boot into Kenny? Let us know. We'll get to them. Here's the second clip. He's asked, just take this down. He's asked, would you give the job to John O'Shea? John O'Shea, of course, he mentioned that. Oh yeah, the door's open for James McClean. But anyway, here's the clip.
Would you give John O'Shea the job?
Absolutely. I don't see you've nothing to lose by doing so. People get fixated on, he hasn't got the experience, but how do you get experience? You get experience by being in the role. Like, I'm not saying John is Pep Guardiola, but if you look at the time, Guardiola had no experience when he got the Barcelona job. Like, I think he had a year or two at the Barcelona B team. So you don't know until he's in that role. And I think so far, he's done pretty okay so far. If you look at the teams we've played, they're ranked a lot higher than us. Missed a penalty against Belgium. Probably should have won that game. Switzerland, good side, got beat with a free kick. And then obviously beating Hungary, who's for 14 games unbeaten and going quite well. So I think he's done an alright job so far. And let's be honest, it's not like, the process now, we're nearly a year into the process.
That's leading into another clip, and we'll talk about that one in a second. So yeah, he says, give him the job. What have the FAI got to lose? Now, I agree with him on that one, to a respect. Like, John O'Shea would not be my first choice. They had a name from the very beginning. I went, oh, okay, but right, if you can't get Carsley, you can't get Anthony Barry, because I'm realistic in where we are and who we can attract. It's going to be, as I said, it's going to be a passion project, or it's going to be somebody at the end of the career, or at the very beginning of the career. So we're limited there. I do see what he's saying. Like, what have they got to lose now, and what's been going on? But he's talking about, like, the games, like, we've done well. We did well against Belgium. We were terrible against Switzerland. The Hungary game was a dreadful performance, but we won it. Fair enough. We'll take it. And then, to be honest with you, it was a bit of a fisting against Portugal, later on that night. But what do you make of it? Don't really know where to go after that. The same.
Well, just on the right, so caliber of opposition. Yeah, like I kind of do agree with James there that they're higher ranked teams than us. Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo and Portugal, we were kind of expecting Like, I was optimistic, thinking we might get a draw, and that was only going to be if they were half-assed. But they went out, and there are just the levels of quality is ridiculous there. And I liked to actually listen to John O'Shea's interview with Tony O'Donoghue after, where he did say about the levels and that the errors, basically not looking after the ball like enough. Like, there was 2 errors we made basically for 2 of their goals, switched off on a short corner. But it could have been a lot worse. I mean, Ronaldo hit the post, didn't he, from the free kick as well. But I think they're a quality outfit. They would beat us in a qualifier, Portugal. We know that. Hungary was a great, I was very opinionated on here saying about the Hungary game. We actually got a win, and everyone's still moaning. They're expecting it overnight. They were going to be a brilliant footballing team. He's had 4 games working with them, O'Shea. I'm not surprised by James McClean saying that he thinks John O'Shea should get the job, because we know the process has been absolutely farcical, the recruitment. I mean,
don't spoil it, Martin.
No, I'm just saying we know that, right? So, and I've seen even people are still in the dark. We don't know what's happening now. So it's just very frustrating. I'm not surprised McLean's saying that John O'Shea could get it, because we also know that O'Shea probably messaged him saying, well done on the promotion. And James probably replied, well, like, I'm available if you need me, kind of thing. I don't have that kind of stuff.
I don't have that clip, but yeah, he did turn around and say, oh yeah, like, I've had a rethink, I got to go out with my... And that's the thing, like, Stephen Kenny facilitated him to go out on his own terms. He said, I've got to do that, but you know what? I'm never really going to be retired from Ireland. I admire his... And by the way, I said that, by the way, and you did.
That,
yes, I did. I said, he'll be back, or he'll look to come back. He'll never retire.
He'll want to come back, but whether he does or not, I mean, and to be honest, it is a problem position, largely for us, the left side has been, even in these games, we've had Brady, O'Dowd are in there. I mean, we'll come on maybe a little bit later. I mean, I think O'Shea did make an error in the starting lineup against Portugal, which we might come on and discuss later on.
We'll talk about that in a bit, yeah.
But I just think, McLean is going to be honest, and I don't think he's got any other way of doing it. He's always going to have a opinion on things, and it's going to be one that grabs a lot of headlines. And it's good insight in a way to maybe how the squad are feeling, and he's been part of it. I mean, Darragh O'Shea was very vocal as well coming out. I mean, we know that Coleman said it, O'Shea said it. A few of them have said they're quite supportive of O'Shea getting it, and I think they're seeing a lot of positive things, perhaps that wasn't there under Kenny, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm always a defender of John O'Shea, as you know, with regards to people are saying, well, he was part of Kenny's backroom staff and stuff. I'm not really having that argument, because I don't think he had too much of a say. I think he was actually brought in, and there I am with him. Yeah, that's the dream team. Mark Canham should see that photo, and that's who he should bring in. Especially, imagine us falling around bars at 2:00 in the morning. Not that ever happened.
Get the team morale. No, you were a very good boy in Avero.
I was. But I just, we want resolution with it. We want a new manager appointed now. I don't think we need to wait that long. I know they're going to wait till the end of the Euros probably now, but I'm hoping there's going to be more progress on this.
Yeah, no, just looking here at the comments, there's a bit of a war of words going on with Connor, Republic of Ireland player tracker Connor there. Oh dear. Also, he did actually say into the group, "Fuck off, Prendy, with your Doherty shirt."
Shall I tell you the context of the Doherty shirt and why I've deliberately done that? This is actually in relation to my travels to Avero. So I got a flight into Porto, then I got a bus. Thank you, Dave, for your advice on where to get the bus from and everything. So anyway, I got the bus, and a lovely little pleasant journey along, and I was chatting away to you on WhatsApp and all sorts. And I noticed a lady get on with an Ireland hat on, and there were 2 Ronaldo Man United shirts that, fanboys basically. And then another gentleman with the lady. And it was actually, I established afterwards, they were chatting a little bit. And I said, the guy said, oh, my son plays for Ireland, and he showed a photo, and I couldn't really see the photo anyway. But anyway, they were chatting away a little bit. Everyone's obviously getting to Avero. And when we got disembarked, is that the word? Getting off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I just caught up with him and said, oh, what's your plans now? Are you related to one of the players? And it was actually Doherty's mum and dad. Very nice couples, chatting to them about, just basically how was he finding the camp, long season, things like that. And it was interesting insight, to, the players' views, perhaps, of the coaches, very praising of, obviously, secondhand from Matt Doherty himself, but very praising of Anthony Barry, who we were coming up against later on. Said he was a fantastic coach. But yeah, it was nice insight, and I did ask about the the comments, and we spoke about on the last show about Matt Doherty's post after the Hungary game, and yeah, very insightful. Just saying that he was just a bit deprecating.
Yeah, I just want to. I've got that here. This one here, just for the record, for anybody watching hasn't seen this before, he was taking the piss. Like he wasn't moaning. He wasn't. It was just like he knew he had a bad game, and Shane Duffy knew he had a bad game. Himself had a bad game. It was a bad game. So it wasn't, just for clarity, because I think that it got a bit
exactly that. Like a lot of the fans call him out saying, "Oh, he doesn't even care." No. That's not the case. I've got the Doherty shirt up there now, just as a bit of a kind of joke with
Martin's new favorite player. Callum O'Dowd is dumped.
Yeah, I've got a few shirts around, to be honest. But no, like what was interesting though was the reaction. I was saying, well, the fans have read it that way, but I have on my journeys and travels watching Ireland, and I often go to the team hotel and get chatting to people, obviously, and family members are there and stuff. Such a hanger on I am, Dave. I'm the ultimate fanboy, but I do obviously get chatting to people and stuff, and you are familiar with people when you go on trips. However, you're always catching up with people, aren't you? It's like a little Irish family. But what's interesting is anytime you speak to parents of players, they're very scathing and protective of their sons, obviously, but it's very scathing of not the fans. It's more the media coverage of things and how they blow everything up and they sensationalize everything. And we all say here, the show we do is obviously by the fans for the fans. We want your insight and your feedback and your views, honestly. And what most people just don't like off the ball or talk sport in England, where it's just wind up radio. Like we're not doing that for clickbaits or anything. We don't do that. No. We're just honestly saying how it is. But I can understand that, and that's the players then and supporters do get their backs up by some of the media coverage when it just sensationalizes even the most minor quips. And we're very lucky as Ireland fans that I saw a load of photos from fans over in Aveiro, and they're having photos of John O'Shea, and the lads are on a walk around. They'll always stop. Our lads, we're not kept away from them, and I think most match-going fans, dare I say it, kind of understand the way it is.
Are you after Doherty to sign that fucking shirt, Martin? Is that what it is?
I could get it signed if I wanted. It's good chat with mutual friends.
This is Martin now. And he'd be on his Instagram. Oh, hi, Matt.
Another point, though, very important, was the players are at the end of June, and a lot of them are protecting where they are going to be club-wise as well, and that's important.
We'll get to that. We're still talking about James McClean and his class act. We've got one more clip there, and this is about what he thinks of the process of finding Stephen Kenny's permanent replacement.
It's not like the process now. We're nearly a year into the process, and we still haven't had a manager. So it's a bit of a farce in that sense. So I think John's done his chances no harm whatsoever.
So you use the word farce to describe what has happened in the search
for
a
new manager. We're nearly a year on, and each week there's a new name mentioned, and this person's been interviewed, and I'd like to be flying the wall to see what's actually going on in these interviews, because look, I might be naive, but I think it's a pretty good job they have. So for people to keep turning it down, it begs the question, what's actually going on?
I think that.
And then Stephen Kelly just turns around and says that the FA are looking to have somebody like John O'Shea who kind of strung him along a little bit. So he says it's a farce. There's no argument there. We don't need to. It's a farce, and we know it's a farce, a process. So full marks. It's a 10 for that one across the way. But he turns around and says that he's done himself no harm, John, and he wonders what's going on in the process. Like, what are they saying? Why do so many managers appear to not want it? Now we don't know if anyone's turned it down per se. Well, I suppose apparently Carsley did, didn't he? So I don't know of anyone who's totally, it's all conjecture, isn't it? Apparently Anthony Barry turned it down, but you can kind of what I mean is, let me rephrase it. For example, I understand why Anthony Barry turned it down, because he's at Bayern Munich and he's at Portugal, who will probably win the tournament in the summer. So you know what I mean. Like, I understand that, but if someone like, I don't know, not Seamus Coleman, Chris Coleman, did he turn it down or was he told no? Did Neil Lennon turn it down or was he told no? That we don't know. So that is conjecture. But what did you make of that? Like, what is being said by Mark Canham and Packy Bonner and Jonathan Hill? I know it's no longer the association, but he was, wasn't he? He was in those interviews at the time.
Yeah, we just know it's an absolute mess. I mean, it's just been speculation. We spent about a month chatting about it and thinking it's going to be announced next week and stuff. And I'm actually pleased to see John O'Shea come out now and say, they're still deliberating on this, or they don't really know what they're doing, but they've got to inform us. They've got to inform the supporters because they need to engage with Irish fans. Look, 800 travelled over to Aveiro for a meaningless end of season friendly. The England game is going to naturally be popular, and it's part of the season ticket package, of course, and there'll be great sales for that game. But we're going in there managerless, and it's not an ideal preparation that, we haven't had we've not got the manager in place. I mean, I don't know really. I've kind of still mixed feelings on it. I mean, I've changed tack so many times and changed opinions. I had Chris Hughton involved at one stage. I think so. The other night, maybe after a few too many drinks, I might have even said get Big Sam in because it would be a good crack at least.
Did you say that to me in the bar?
I think I might have said that just as a good crack. It'll be a good crack because anytime I've heard about Big Sam, the players seem to love him, and he's a great record with England, didn't he? My other 100%. Team, Dave, apparently. It's just gone quiet. Mark Canham's gone quiet, and yet we're just dripping along now. And it's interesting. John O'Shea is going over to the Euros to kind of watch some games now. I think that's just part of his own, dare I say it, coaching journey, and he's doing analysis of these future opposition, perhaps. But I just think we just need some clarity. I think John O'Shea is near enough asking, like, you need. I think I'm getting from John O'Shea is, if you come back to me again and offer me the interim thing, that is a proper insult, I think, and don't go with that. And
I think that's when I mentioned on the post match, on the aftermath, which is in the archives. I said that if we're still in the situation, because someone asked the question, when does Canham's position become untenable? I don't know if it's not a million miles away from it, but I said, yeah, if we still don't have a manager sorted out for the September game, he has to go. Has to go.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about that is, and this is my worry about the pathway, and I don't want to go off tack because I think this is key that we're talking about McLean and John O'Shea and where we are now, but that whole pathway was designed, and we've come up with it from the input from Mark Canham. It's a lot of trust on one person to say we're putting that thing in place, and it's not worked. Who he wants to get in as that manager, he's never even, or the interim, the main coach or whatever it is, the head coach idea. He's not actually able to deliver on that. So he's a man under pressure. But what happens if it goes, like, what happens if that goes wrong and we don't get the person he's got his eye on, and or even that it comes too much for him and he walks away from it, and we've got this pathway which the guy actually who's come up with it hasn't designed. It's absurd, really. He wants to put all these things in place on his idea and philosophy of Irish football development, and yet he might not be the man to be able to deliver that because he can walk away anytime. Like, I do think it's important that kind of point's made. Look, there's lots of gossip. I mean, everyone in the Irish crowd was chatting a lot during the game, to be honest, because it wasn't fantastic to watch. But everyone was asking the question, would you give it to O'Shea? Would you? Yeah, I mean, look, we said in the last show, didn't we, that I put out 2 polls, one before Hungary and one after we won. And 68% said no to John O'Shea. And after we won, 74%. Now, I know we've corroborated that it's not the same people voting, of course, and perhaps a different kind of voting mindsets. But, I just think it's just so much speculation still. One interesting thing I heard was that a player, I won't name the player, but he had said, and it's not Matt Doherty, just to be clear, it wasn't from that conversation, but a player did say that they were told by Mark Canham that it was Willie Sagnol, he was coming in, and that was in the last window in March. That they said that's who's coming in, but then they didn't deliver that, and that is obviously because they were banking. If that is the case, they were banking on them not qualifying for the Euros, which they have done. So is it going to be him? I don't know, because I think the idea of they wanted Irish, I don't know if that necessarily is important. But is
I
he
don't know.
a coach who develops and things like that?
I don't know.
Where does John O'Shea go back? Does he go back to being an assistant? Is he part of the backroom setup? There's just more questions than answers.
And yet again, if you do go, let's say you have John O'Shea number 2 or number 1 or whatever, could they undermine the manager? Could Willie Sandall go, well, actually, no, you're kind of undermining me a bit now because they know you've had them for 4 games. I'm the boss. I don't want them going to you. If I tell him something that I don't want him, that he might not be happy with, and he goes to you, so, that kind of thing might happen, and that dynamic. But we'll get into, because the comments are flying in just very quickly.
Just one thing, sorry, Dave, to go. If Winnie's selling if he has a really good tournament now with Georgia, the risk is like club football comes calling for him. There's loads of people out of jobs now. The guy from Dortmund's just gone. You don't.
We're not the mass. We're not the masters of our own destiny here.
No.
Mark Hannam has created. Mark Hannam, Packy Bonner, and Jonathan Hill, the powers that be, have created a situation now where we are free falling. We are not actually free falling. We're just listing. We're just going with it, and we're just kind of drifting into this massive game against England in September, which is going to be tasty. And the thing is, England have one of the best squads in the world. But there's enough there in the Ireland team, I believe, with the right man in charge, with the right amount of time, can do something with that team. It's not a terrible team. It was a terrible game against Portugal, but it's not a terrible team. It's a good, there's some good players there. There's enough quality there with the game plan, but that takes time. And we have whoever comes in hasn't had, even if it's John O'Shea, he's had it under the pretense that you're just the interim manager, so you haven't actually been able to do what you wanted to do. Say, sorry, James, I love you, mate, but fuck off. Or, sorry, Shane, but your time's up. We need to go a different direction. Where he can start like bringing in the changes, and then he's had those few months to shape the team the way he wants to. Because I don't think if he does get it, he hasn't been given, he hasn't shaped the team the way he wants it. That's my belief. He's just, as I said, he's just been keeping it warm. Just very quickly, we will get into the comments. Obviously, with the Portugal game, you were at it very quickly.
Look. Some people, I won't name them, but they've written off Cristiano Ronaldo.
Let me tell you something. He will not get that amount of space against a top team. And and you said that to me in the bar afterwards, and you agree with me. And all the other lads agree.
He will score goals if he's given opportunities. And that's
given
space.
And
that's what they'll do. But it doesn't matter. He's still like the second one even is clinical. The free kick, which he doesn't really score from free kicks anymore. He nearly did. But he's just playing a different kind of way now to adapt to his body and conserve his energy, but he just comes alive. And I thought they were excellent, working on set pieces as well. They'd done the same corner 3 times, and nearly scored. Second half, especially, they do this short corner to Bruno Fernandes, goes out, and it results in a shot. And Kelleher played very well. I know he got man of the match for us, but you can see the impact Anthony Barry's having on set pieces. This is a very good side, this Portugal side. They made 5 changes at half time.
And who
kept the ball very easily.
And whose fault is that? That's the coaching team, isn't it?
What?
If you're getting caught out by short corners constantly. We got caught out by Hungary constantly. We're getting caught out by Portugal. So clearly,
but you've got limited time of preparation. I mean, look, Portugal are well along their journey with it. I mean, I know, but you're adapting in game as basics. And what I would say is, the quality levels were just completely and the small not small margins, because it wasn't, but like your centre technically is where we really kind of went wrong.
But not from a short corner. Like I understand
if fell asleep there, but
exactly.
Falling asleep, isn't it?
It was the same against Hungary. It was the same against Hungary. They kept doing the short corners. We never picked them up. They were doing it again. I mean, the team, the starting 11 as well. Connor's got a lot to say in that in the comments. I mean, I didn't get a chance to really talk about it because in the pre-game, because there was a bit of drama in the stadium trying to get set up, and we didn't have a lot of time. But I mean, I was madness playing 2 in midfield against that team, who hit you who can hit you in so many different ways, and preferably like to use the channels. They like to use the overlap, and we're playing 2 pivots in midfield. He should have packed a midfield, and he's playing 2 strikers. It's a game that you go to the striker. Look, I'm sorry, you're going to get nothing. You're going to get scraps. You're going to be like Oliver going up. Can I have some more, sir? Sorry, you can't. The ball kitchen's closed. Good luck. Just feed off the scraps. stuff like that, man. That's pretty basic stuff as well. I wasn't
Yeah,
impressed with
I
that.
think I think he got it wrong. To be honest, I think
Never changed it though.
I didn't see why he had to start Troy Parrott. It wasn't as if he come on and scored 2 goals. I know he got the winning goal, but he wasn't all right. It will say I'm absurd, but like he wasn't a game changer. Right, he got a goal, but his performance wasn't. Oh, he must start the next game. It wasn't influential in any other ways, really. What I would say though, he should have set up as they did, dare I say it, against France at home, where you have to have an outball like Ogbene, right? I know Ogbene's not there, but Mikey Johnson was definitely there for that, to run at Delot or whoever was going to be playing on the right. And that's what we had to have. We didn't have enough mobility. You had to have legs in that midfield, so you had to have Jason Knight in there, probably running more, because he's another one I've felt a lot of sympathy for him, because he just gets put in different positions, never really gets to shine any of them, but will do a solid job. It was a massive baptism of fire for Jake O'Brien. We all clamoured to wanting him to start, but and Liam Scales as well. It was interesting. We had a bit of a chat in the pub about Scales, and a lot of Irish fans are Celtic fans, and they were saying, at the top level, and even goes, teams target him. I'll look at this a bit more in some depth, like haven't had it said to me, but I've spoken to even fans of Celtic over here, like in social circles, and they say, "Oh, geez, that lad from Ireland's pure shite." But and teams target him. I've heard it from different people from social circles, and it's like, that's quite interesting to hear. Like, okay, and that's like Rangers did it. It is probably the quality there. One of the goals as well. It was. I mean, it's very tough. It was tough again, that France game, when it just went up to Ferguson. He was anonymous in that game. I remember at Lansdowne Road. But when we had Adam Eder up there, you've got to do everything to look after that ball when it comes near you, and it was just bouncing off him, and that's where actually we lost the ball for one of their goals. And I think it was the third one. I think it might have been. It's gone up to him, or like whatever you say. Though I'm going to come back to he stood off him a mile, Ronaldo, but to execute that top corner, like it was unbelievable.
You give any professional footballer space and time, and they're going to punish you. Come on out. Man United things. Anyway, do you agree? No. We're going to get to the comments. Do you agree, Martin? As you got Ronaldo's 39. Do us a favor. Right. Before we get into the comments, just want to remind you guys, first time watchers or listeners, as we are live on Republic of Ireland Player Tracker. Thank you, Connor. And of course, Lansdowne Roar and Lansdowne Road, Twitter and Facebook, and of course the YouTube channel. But if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you're watching here, you got the QR code down the bottom right. That gives you our link tree, and you can head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter. And please, we are trying to grow the YouTube channel as well. And if you want an opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. Martin, we're going to enter my favorite part of the program, the comments. Right, let's get into it. A few tasty ones coming in there. And by the way, keep those comments coming in. Keep them coming in. And we'll get to them. Right, first one. Hold on. Bit of a... Here we are. Jason Irwin, what did he say? That's obviously in James McClean. Have a listen back to the start, Jason. We did talk about it. We did play the clips. And if you are just joining us live, if you head back to the beginning of the podcast, we played 3 James McClean quotes, what he said as a pundit. Very controversial there as well. So have a look back on that. Dara over on Twitter. They have no one lined up. Manager, this is. Difficult to have any faith in them. Callum is scaring them off. What do you reckon he's saying to them in the interview?
No, I think Callum's been told to keep quiet and take a backward step with this and just let it kind of run out. Yeah, but I don't really. Are they even doing interviews at the moment? I think they're just waiting. No. They're obviously doing the feelings out at the moment. Well, Euros, there's no way Willie Staniel was sitting down chatting to them when he's preparing for a Euros. So it's either going to be him and waiting for the Euros to finish, but otherwise they're in desperation stakes and they're chatting to everybody. But I think they're going to just wait for the Euros to filter out and then go in for their person they want, unless it's, they're going to just turn around and go, we can't get him now. and or whoever their first, second choice is, if they even have that.
John,
And then they're going to
how are you, boy?
They have to have it earlier than waiting 2 weeks before, just to be fair to the players.
Absolutely. Paul Brown, how you doing, Paul? Over on YouTube. Hi, lads. Great works per usual. Thank you very much, Paul. James should keep his opinions to himself. Sounds like he's an axe to grind after dropping out of the Irish 11 following his move to Wrexham. Bitchy, sour grapes. Good man, Paul. Yeah, I wonder if James is watching. I'll probably get... Oh, actually, do you know what? About James McClean's comments? I know what I meant to say. He doubled down on his comments about the possession-based football.
Yeah,
I have him here. Don't you worry. So here he is. Right, this is what he said. This is him on his Instagram, and he's got. Hold on, let me have a look here. So he shows the group stage of when we qualified for Euro 2012, where we finished second for a playoff. Barely, and then he has qualified for Euro 2012, and then he has qualified to Euro 16, got the last 16 in the tournament by finishing third somehow. We got into the knockout stages, and then he goes second in the group, one game away from World Cup, the 2018 one, and then he has equals hard to beat, boring football, and then beside it he's got, well, it's underneath, I split it in half, and he's got 2 Stephen Kenny campaigns where we're pretty much well out of running, and he goes equals exciting possession-based football. When we finished third in one group, which ironically would have got us a playoff in Euro 2000 and whatever, the Euro 2016 one, and then he shows the last one, which was a complete disaster for the European Championships, where we finished second from bottom. Then we had somebody called Fat Dave Martin responded. He's a friend of Bill over an Irish football blog. Give him a shout. 2016 qualified based on a new format which Staunton would have qualified on. 2018 lost to 10-man Serbia at home, drew a 10-man Wales at home, drew it 116th in the world Georgia away, got pumped 5-1 at home by a Danish team who we had proven we were more than capable against. That was after Connor had shared that picture, James McClean's Instagram post, and said, I don't even know what to say anymore, over Public Bar and Player Tracker. And then James McClean had this to say: Asher, what do we know? Can relax. Though it's all in good hands. A growing ass man who's never played a game, running a football fan page, probably a virgin also. Don't know. Is that about Connor? And Fat Dave, I thought he was talking about me at one stage. And Fat Dave, who shows up on a Saturday and Sunday morning with Lucas Aid and pays us £2 to play football, thinking he's a player. Have it all figured out. Do me a favor. For fuck's sakes, good night and God bless. Now we know what he thinks of. We know what he thinks of. He said that anyone who runs an Irish football fan page are fannies. So we're fannies, Martin.
Yep.
I know you're a fan.
I think he shows he's out of touch though a little bit. I mean, if you can, I'm sure any lads who do play football on a Saturday and Sunday morning, fair play if you're still doing it and getting up. Big admiration for that. But I don't think anyone's playing £2 subs. Where's he? What world's he living in? You wouldn't be able to hire anywhere with paying £2 a player. So yeah, I don't know what the hell he's on about. Lucas Aid as well.
Maybe in Wrexham. And Lucas.
Yeah.
Really.
But yeah, I mean, again, he doubles down on his comments, doesn't he? And he goes in and I don't know, is he just, is this kind of clever of trying to have a media career and generating interest and stuff?
I think he's very
sometimes go very dark with it and very attention seeking, of course. And
the whole thing, maybe he's a virgin and Fat Dave.
There's no need for that. Yeah,
like now you're getting personal. I mean, all Dave turned around and said was, look, Dave was right. There's a few asterisks next to some of those qualifying groups. And then James McClean gets all, he called Irish football page owners like you and I, Martin, fannies, which I'm thinking, hold on a second. We help promote the game in Ireland. We do our best. We tell people the game. We try to drum up interest. We remind them of the good old times. Even the ones, we make sure the players like Davy Langan, Tony Grealish, these guys are not forgotten about. Not just the big players. Like we do a lot for Irish football. So I'm not having that. You can fuck off with that. quite
I think
frankly.
we've been very supportive of James himself, though. Like,
And of James
I'll be
McClean,
honest,
yeah.
like Jesus, some of the stick he gets, and we've been very supportive of that. You know,
We
I know
have.
that obviously part of West London and Chris, like we've had, supportive messages have gone out to him, his family, when it has been unacceptable, the abuse he's got, and we've also canvassed different kind of associations to say like it's wrong that he's having to put up with that. So lots of us have a lot of admiration for him without doubt, and I'm not saying he's the greatest ever player for Ireland, of course, but I have great admiration for him, what he got out of his career, without
I just
doubt.
think he's a
And
bit
to get
nasty
100 caps.
sometimes. I just think he's
Yeah,
a bit
you don't.
nasty.
He doesn't need to go down the personal
No.
thing. He can be bigger than that. And I think when you start with the insults, and to be fair, I'm not a big fan of Irish fans calling him shite and this and going in backwards at him. I don't think it helps anyone, and it's a bit embarrassing on both sides, really, to be very fair.
It is a bit. Let's move on. Dave McGuinness, how you doing, David? McLean was spot on. It's not his fault Kenny kept picking him. As much as I didn't agree with it, but regardless, he is spot on. And then he continues, don't be foolish to believe he's the only player that felt this way. He was just the first to speak out about it. He won't be the last. Yeah, I think we said that, haven't we? Even when it was all kind of falling apart with Steve Kenny. We said that, like, wait till the books come out. There'll be people talking about the whole setup, and you'll,
It did remind me a little bit of Matt Doherty, though. If you just see the wonderful shirt there, I have to get that mention of that again. But it reminded me of, with him with Martin O'Neill, where he come out and told a few stories out of school, and Martin O'Neill called him a prick, didn't he, or something?
Tosser. Call him a tosser.
Yeah.
Who calls anyone a tosser anymore?
Sacrosanct changing room. What goes on, you keep it in
house rules.
But I think that's what it reminded me of a little bit here with this. So yeah, it's good. It's a bit of good crack as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes it all very interesting. Paul Brown, P.S. Please can we get an experienced manager, even retired, semi-retired, great European manager. He could have a younger coaching ticket around him, but please be an experienced manager. I think those days are gone. I think, Paul, we're about 20 years too late for that, mate. Dave McGuinness again. I said for ages that the players weren't playing for him, particularly in the last year, and this is an example of frustration the players endured. Do agree with that, David? They weren't. They were playing for him at one stage, and I think when the whole thing happened in November, I'm not going to bang on about 2022, you could see he'd lost the plot a bit, and we called it here. Albeit we were called something else. We called it here in this podcast. We said that's it for him. It's done. That's when I knew it was done for Stephen Kenny. And I think we pretty much all said the same thing when he picked that, with the whole thing with Malta and Norway. It was a catastrophe.
Yeah, I mean, just to we've spoken about Stephen Kenny in the past a lot, and what a nice guy and stuff we found him when we met him, and interaction with him, of course, and with the FAI. But very emotive character, and even tonight, I think it is breaking that he was asked in the preparation for the St. Pat's game coming up. He's asked about McLean's comments, and he has said he's going to respond to it. So, that it's going to rumble on and on. So it's interesting, but I think even Kenny does like to have these kind of media kind of junkets, where he can kind of set out his stall and kind of justify some of his interpretation of what's happened in Irish football. He did that before, didn't he? And I liked it when he was an Ireland manager doing that, because he was coming out fighting, but sadly he wasn't able to deliver. And and that's why he paid the price of his job.
I think it's going to be death by PowerPoint. Stephen Kenny.
Well, if he comes from McLean, I mean, McLean won't let it drop either. So that's why it's I can see this going rumbling on and on and on, and then I think it will other players will come in and say they'll come and go, this is nonsense now.
Don't worry, folks. We'll cover it when it does go. When the shit hits the fan. Andrew Ringo, McLean was a mediocre player at best. Connor, how you doing, Connor McAvoy? Republic of Ireland player tracker. Give those guys a follow over on Twitter. He does great work. He's a good lad, Connor. I missed you, buddy. I missed you sitting next to me in a barrel. Sorry, I had to put up with this old moan bastard over there in it. Buddy, just having a.
Who were you? You had a great seat in the stadium, though. Sent you a photo, didn't I? Lovely little photo.
You did. Sit next
to your new bestie.
Dan and I, we were like that. It was funny because I was actually showing him the. No, I'm helpful. You know me. I'm a lovely fella, Martin. I'm just misunderstood. No, I try to be helpful. I was there with Damien Spellman, actually, from PA. Or AP, sorry, Associated Press.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to nice guy who got a taxi back to the station. Not stranded, but like he was trying to give me money. I was like, no. You know, he was heading back to Sunderland. Jesus, through the night, like getting a train and again, like a plane first thing in the morning. But anyway, and I said to
Didn't hear me complaining. I did the same. I was probably more hydrated.
Yeah, you were well oiled, shall we say? Did you got your taxi all right? I just went back to try to have a sleep. And then sitting next to Dan, I said to him, like, do you want to watch? If you want to watch the game, because we didn't have any monitors, we just, it was on the laptop, so that's why I had to write my notes down. Which, Jesus, you swear I was well hydrated. My handwriting, and he didn't want to watch it. He wanted to watch it on the screen because, to be fair, it was like a 2-minute delay on my laptop. But Dan's all right. He's a good lad. I like, I read his stuff. We subscribe to the Irish Independent. Like reading the scare. But anyway, we'll go on. Connor, Dan, if you're watching, you see me with a Dan McDonald t-shirt behind me here now. Connor, Shane McLean left McCarthy's dismal Euro 2020 campaign off his Instagram story, seeing as he said we have qualified under him. We'd have qualified under him, yep, and he did not get us a playoff place. That was due to a dismal Nations League. That was a terrible campaign. I mean, I don't blame Mick for that one too much. He was told to get us to the Euros, just get us to the Euros. And of course, what happened. Liam Brady, how you doing, Leon? Over on Twitter, McLean is a cartoonish, moaning, or gesticulating walking contradiction. Wow, I like it. He talks nonsense. I'm watching the BBC for the Euros. RT, get rid of him. Dave McGuinness, the players knew they were able to win, draw, ugly, yet the Messiah wouldn't allow it and couldn't see it. Stephen Kenny, obviously. It's a damning verdict on him and his ideals on what he had at his disposal. As his self-belief that he could make us play like Brazil 1970, maybe Brazil in their 70s. Nuri Nurk, how you doing, Nuri Nurk? Good to see you over. No, I didn't actually see him over in Aveiro. Great trip. But why Aveiro? Zero public transport to the ground, 6 kilometres from the city, would still be stranded there, but for a lift from a Risk London booked taxi. That was an hour and a half late. Martin, the chairman of Risk London, hour and a half late.
What? I was with him. That's the taxi I was with.
Was I in the taxi as well?
But for a lift from Risk London. No, this is the one stranded back out to it.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Back home, this was. Yeah, we all walked to the petrol station, which is miles walked along the motorway. And we ended up getting about an hour later, but yeah, you wouldn't, if you didn't get the lift, you would.
No, I mean, I had to get a Bolt. Get the Bolt app. Bolt's great. They accept it all around Europe. But I got shanghaied into, as Declan said to me in the taxi going out there, well, you're media, Dave. Like, this is, you deserve this. I was like, thank you very much. So thank you very much. Because I was going to walk to the ground, which wouldn't have been a good idea. But yeah, he is right.
I think I made some inappropriate jokes. I'm just remembering them. I'm not going to repeat them. Definitely not repeating them.
No, we don't want to get kicked off here. But yeah, but he is right though. Great trip, but why Aveiro? Very convoluted. Why not in Porto? Play in the in the Porto state. What's it called? We went past it on the way to the training ground. It just would have made more sense. Lovely place, Aveiro. Nice people, but the ground was just built for the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing out there. We found a bar, and it was very reasonably priced. I couldn't believe it, really. But
very cheap, Portugal.
Yeah, it was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's actually quite, yeah. Except for the 20 quid I pay for fucking Burger King at the airport. But anyway, Connor never lost by more than 2 goals under Kenny in a competitive game against some top nations as well. McLean, just a bluffer. Kenny gave him his 100 caps and his break in football. Dave McGuinness says, infuriating to see all the comments his past 24 hours. People out there hated Trapp, Martin O'Neill, Kerr, McCarthy, but seem to think the Messiah is immune to any criticism. He isn't. He fully deserves to be called out on his dire 3 years as Ireland boss. Connor again. Embarrassing for Morty, bringing him in as a pundit. Boring to listen and shows no knowledge of research done. Well, I mean, he got the whole thing wrong with the playoff, didn't he? Imagine crying because you didn't get called up when you were playing in fucking League 2. Connor, he's got a net. Do you reckon Connor's on the sauce, Martin?
He may well be, and we better not talk about national anthems or anything like that because he gets very upset about that. Although I did post on to him 8 years today. We were playing at Euro 2016 against Sweden, and I posted the viral video of my son on my shoulders. I look a lot younger than 8 years ago, of him singing around the Veen, and yeah, nice. Like because I thought Connor would like to see that because he's very passionate about the Irish players singing the anthem. I didn't see it too closely because they didn't have screens in the stadium the other day for that.
No, you saw the scoreboard, didn't they?
Yeah, who was singing or not?
Yeah, I was actually. I must admit, I was getting a little teary eyed. Love hearing the Ronda V.
That's brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, bit like giving you here.
Did you see the weird thing though? So the players turned towards us. The management turned towards the stand where you were.
Yes.
Right, because they had two guys, didn't they, with the Irish flag there?
They always do that, yeah. Because they didn't have the flags. Well, they don't have the flag poles in some of these stadiums. I remember that in Athens as well. And they had the lads, they tied and he put the flag down so the players could face. It's just a bit of a miscommunication.
I held one up though. Can I just say I did hold one up? I was part of the little team with Steve McNulty hung it up to display to the lads if they did want to. Maybe they would turn to us, Dave.
Good stuff. Yeah, maybe they were. Good man, Steve. Yeah. Steve, he bought me a Coke.
Oh, Jesus.
He did. Do you remember that? You remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, I do.
You were
bollocks.
Yeah, bollocks. You were bollocks. No. If you're watching Caroline, he was he was good as gold.
I'm going to just say a story quickly. I said to you, didn't I? Like, I'm leaving at 6 a.m. and I'm going to take a photo of myself every hour. And I set an alarm on. This is how sad it was, right? But I set the alarm to go off every hour. So even on the flight, it was going off every hour. So I would just take a quick photo because I wanted to see. It was like that thing, at the wedding. This is my first drink. Yeah. This is my last drink. I wanted to kind of do that. I've got about 16 photos out of the 24-hour trip.
Oh, it's not bad actually.
It isn't too bad, but yeah, it's because it was getting a bit embarrassing in the game when the alarm kept going off. But yeah, so yeah, there's some good ones. But yeah, I was quite impressed with myself at the end. To be fair.
Good man. Yeah. Because remember, you text me. I was still in bed when you'd arrived. You had a couple of players on the flight. We won't mention that.
You said send more photos. I don't know what you're on about.
Wi-Fi wasn't working. Brendan Byrne, all heart that can never be disputed. This about McLean. I think what he alluded to was that you can't make a silk person with so's ear, so play to your strengths. Do you know what, Brendan? I think there is a little bit of a truth to that as well. Connor, stop sitting on the fence, Barton. He's a fucking numpty about James McClean. See, anybody watching this for the first time, we mean it when we say, say what you want within reason. This is, and they are watching, by the way. I'm sure some of the players do watch this and have a look. So, anyway, Dave McGuinness, it doesn't lack class. That's towards me saying that it lacked class what McLean did. He's a centurion and entitled to voice an opinion. When asked, what was he supposed to do? Lie? No, have class. No, I think he has lacked class, Dave. I'm sorry, I love you, but I got to disagree with you there. And you've seen the way he's reacted. Now, to be fair, I put that up after you made that comment, but you've seen how he's reacted to fan pages, kind of questioning me. He goes for the nuclear button. He gets personal. What, you're not allowed to have an opinion because you haven't played. He's played 100 games. He's very lucky to play 100 games for Ireland, and fair play to him. But I just think he just needs to show a little bit of decorum and count to 10 before speaking. Sometimes Richard Joyce, Kenny was the worst Ireland manager I've ever seen. Complete jackass trying to buy time with young players while forcing older players to retire, but don't agree with McLean about O'Shea getting the job. No, I still think Stan was worse because of the players he had. Dave McGuinness, if you're asked your opinion, you give it. Del O'Brien, I thought he was great, spoke honestly, unlike a lot of pundits, and James McClean. I mean, he will be box office Martin, won't he?
He will be. He's probably looking at Roy Keane now and thinking, Roy does it, why don't I? Be a bit controversial as well, and he'll get the FAI ticket now to be on their coverage. The RTE one, he'll be all over that when and then that's it. You're in there, and you're always good for a soundbite, and he's not gonna, mess that up. I don't think. He will bring it online as well. That's it. It's all good coverage.
It's going to be interesting. Richard Joyce, McLean saying there's nothing to lose by appointing O'Shea. Not Nothing, only a World Cup campaign. Sure, what's that? And looking at the 4 games, O'Shea has made it clear he's not the man for the job. Del O'Brien, O'Shea has done okay. Played some brave football in stages. You can't touch him for 4 games. Give him a chance. Who else have we got? That's the thing. If they gave it to O'Shea, I said, just give it to him. Just give it to him because there's no one else. And that's not really fair on O'Shea. And it's not because I think O'Shea's a brilliant, brilliant coach. And I don't want to be disrespectful to John O'Shea because you know what? He's been brilliant for the FAI stepping in here. He has acted with class.
Yeah.
And he really has acted with class. So fair play to him. And
Yeah.
I do think he's been strung along by the FAI.
He definitely has. And I've said that before, and I think I'm kind of protective of it, really, because he has. We were even talking at one stage of Chris Hughton to come in, like someone experienced to steady the ship. That wasn't possible, but John O'Shea's come in inexperienced, and I think he's done that, and he's made it quite positive to camp and everything like that. I like even the media coverage. We spoke before, didn't we, how he's quite media trained. He does this thing actually, because Tony O'Donoghue's interview with him was quite spiky. Tony's getting this bit of a reputation for this though now, isn't he? Because he does. It's a little bit wind-uppy. And saying, why are you bothering speaking to the players about things? Like why are you pointing things out to them? But that's what a good coach would do. Even if he's not going to be the future manager, he can pass on his experience to something. That's what a pundit kind of does as well. They say these things. So I was a bit uncomfortable with that. But John O'Shea does this thing that Aidan O'Brien, the horse racing trainer, does. Very good. Yeah. Always refer to the interviewee and uses their name a little bit. It kind of softens people to use it, but it's quite respectful, I think.
Well, he know Tony,
isn't it, David?
Yes, it is, Martin. We were saying about what was it? About Jonathan and Mark. Remember when we were on a first name basis back in February? Yeah. Look, I mean, Tony O'Donoghue, gentleman, by the way, lovely man. You always say hello to him on the, I let him crack on, but I always just say hello because I'm a lovely man.
Tony's a good guy, without doubt.
But I mean, John O'Shea, to be fair, he cares. He does care. This is a passion project for him. He doesn't need the money. He wants to do this. He really wants to do this.
Yeah, he wants to be a coach. He wants to be a manager. He's been given that opportunity. So he's going to always be able to say the manager of Ireland for 4 games, and that's there now. And did a lot of positives. The lads will be very positive about it, I think. Last one in March, remember there's people saying I was the times of on the pitch and things, but he would have pissed people off in that one because he wasn't going to be able to give them all time. I think he's managed the group quite well now, giving them time and asking them to do things and little messages, and I think that's he's actually done well with that. I think there's some players there who were probably in danger of kind of fading out a little bit, like O'Dowd had quite a good window, I think. I'm saying that in all seriousness. The amount of people who said, "Oh, he played really well the other day," and I think that was good.
He's all right. Yeah,
Onyx as well. He's got over that hurdle. We are missing a lot of players. Let's not forget that as well. And it's difficult, but
we are missing a lot of key players.
Very trusted. But again, he hasn't pissed off the old guard either in a way. So it's quite clever.
But
that wasn't his job, as you said before.
That was his job to do that, to not piss off the old guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So he's done that quite well as well.
Yeah, but that's what he's supposed to act like. The statesman. Manager is a statesman. Anyway, we'll move it on. Dave McGuinness, Connor, celebrating losses and starting sentences with words like "we only lost by." It's a loser mentality that Kenny and his disciples got far too comfortable with. No previous manager could tolerate that around the team. Counting goals in losses is an argument in Kenny's defence. That holds no water. Losing is losing, and to compare to 2-0 loss and to deem it dramatically different to a 3-0 loss is a bit pathetic. Portugal are way better than an Ireland team, says Connor, missing 5-6 possible starters, as you alluded to, Martin. The setup from O'Shea was an embarrassment. This is Connor from send all your hate tweets to from Iron Player Tracker. It was an embarrassment for O'Shea playing Smollix and Parrott on the wing in a game where you need legs was a joke. I do agree with that, though, with Connor. The setup was wrong. We should have packed the midfield. You ain't going to play Portugal off the park. You just have to try and stifle them as much as you can. And then they'll adapt because they're that good. And then you go again. Like the Borg, you try to adapt. Anyway, that's my very basic knowledge. James will be coming after me. James McClean, that is. David McGuinness, from what I've heard from other coaches in the FAI, the professionalism of John O'Shea instilled so far is like comparing apples and oranges. Players are naturally going to warm to that. They do speak very highly of him. The FAI do, and all the players do, but not being funny. They all spoke highly of Kenny as well, didn't they? All the players, including Coleman and Doherty.
But it's very clever. Well, it's not clever of O'Shea. It's just what I would expect. You want people you're working with, or to think highly of you and stuff. So in that kind of small window he had.
Yeah. Paul Brown, John O'Shea is managers in shit pre-tournament friendly, so let's not get carried away. Dave McGinnis says players will say what they need to say on camera or to a journo. They all praise Kenny, but we are learning and will learn more that they didn't all mean that. Prudence there. It's what we just said, actually. Connor, question for you, Mr. Prendergast. Did you ask them why their son Matt doesn't sing our national anthem?
I didn't ask him that, but I have seen some Irish fans who were travelling back, and they have a photo with Darragh O'Shea and Matt Doherty's in it. That's funny and they've kind of scribbled out his face. And one of them said in the comments, we asked him, and he said it's because I do not want to.
Yeah, I did want to mention that because it was like, maybe.
No, but that's why. Yeah, that's right though. But that's fair play. It's up to him, isn't it? I mean, the other argument about the anthem is that people could just I don't know. It's just, why are you gonna? If you're not comfortable when you're in the zone in a way, I'm obviously making an argument.
It's not a big. It's not.
Sing it. I think you should sing it, and I think you should be passionate about singing it because not like the rugby lads. I'll upset the rugby aficionados now who follow the Lansdowne law, but I think the rugby lads get far too emotional with it. I think you should be passionate about it and be respectful.
I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal for me. If you're delivering, if they're out there banging goals in and winning, people wouldn't care. I think. I know it does annoy people. I see it all the time. For me, if you're a player and you go, well, when I'm in the zone, I want to be in the zone. You do your thing. Players are very fastidious, aren't they? They'll have certain boots and they'll wear certain socks back in the old days, they have their little things that they do. They're very what's the word I'm looking for?
Superstitious.
That's the word I'm looking for as well.
I've got a quick question. I just want to put it out to listeners now, right? I've seen a lot of the foot players play for Ireland who were on the pitch the other night against Portugal. A lot of them posted their photos, great camp or whatever, proud to play for this team and blah blah blah. And it was quite interesting. And I wanted to see what the view of the Royal Faithful is. That most of their photos featured them in an interaction with Ronaldo. Right in the photo, and I thought that was quite telling. Now I have an opinion on this, but I'm interested to see what the Royal Faithful's view is of the lads doing that.
What's your opinion, Martin? Is it to get more views? Is it?
Well, it is that, but again, no. I want to read some of the comments later on, and then I'll give you my opinion if that's okay, Dave.
That's fair enough.
And if you are watching the show, message now. The link to the show and get a few more people watching along with us.
Yes, tell people we've got over 2,000 people watching this, by the way, Martin. Just to let you know.
That's so great.
Thank you for those. It's 11:10 at night. We've got over 2,000 people watching us live. Brilliant, fantastic support again from the Royal Faithful, and over at Republic of Ireland Player Tracker as well. Thank you, Connor. If you don't follow him already, give him a follow over Republic of Ireland Player Tracker. Back to the comments. Piotr Dugan, you can't blame Kenny for losing the playoff to Slovakia. We played well that night and created better chances. I doubt McCarthy would have done any better. Kenny's fault, Horahan missed. Sorry, not Kenny's fault. Horahan missed a sitter. Doherty missed a sitter as well, didn't he, in that game? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Very unlucky. I think at the beginning of Stephen Kenny's reign, he had no luck. Now, you create your own luck as well, but he had no luck in the early part. But I think, with everything that happened towards the end, he sort of negated that, didn't he? But yeah, people forget that game. We were very good in that and lost in a penalty shootout. Paul Brown, give it a big Sam and let him go up against England. Richard Joyce is clearly going to be Willie Sagnol. He's the best choice from the rest of the pack or bunch. East Coaster, how you doing, East Coaster? Over on Twitter, we need a new start, an experienced international coach who can devise a plan that works for us and can get the best out of limited players. Harvey Renard, step forward and take a bow. It will take more funding than currently on offer. though. I don't think it's going to be forthcoming. East Coaster. Richard Downey, crazy expecting Cullen and Smallbone to cope in midfield as both are not strong tacklers. Need Knight in also no pace on the wings. Either Hodge or Bosun Lawal should have been in the squad. Also, I do agree there. Should have packed the midfield. Dave McGuinness, Piotr, how is the playoff in Slovakia not Kenny's fault? It was shy tactics against a very poor Slovakia side, and we didn't get near them. Also, we were completely unprepared for a penalty shootout. Can we stop apologise for Stephen fucking Kenny? I don't think you like Stephen Kenny, Martin. What do you reckon? That and Luxembourg, and Azerbaijan, and Armenia, and Qatar.
I need to meet David. I mean, I know he said to us in the past at Devonshire in London.
We have met David.
I know. I need to meet him again for a pint in the Devonshire. I'm putting that out there to him now. Can you arrange that, please? I'll actually go for a meal.
Pint in the Devonshire. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dave, you want to sit down? And we'll have a live podcast. We'll give you your own personal podcast, and you can tell us how much you love Stephen Kenny in person. Dave McGuinness, Sagnall will have his head turned. Better jobs will come his way. That's what you said, Martin. To be fair, earlier on. You're absolutely right, Dave. Yes.
Words that have never been said on this before.
It's true, actually. The right manager will get a tune out of this group of players. We may write off this Nations League and just get through it with the new manager and be ready for the World Cup qualifiers in March. I hope I'm wrong, though. Don't think you will be. Piotr Dugan again. It's Willie Sagnall after the Euros. Look at the evidence. It all points to him since March. The manager search has gone completely dead. It's obvious they are waiting for him to finish with Georgia. Piotr, totally agree with you. However, there's nothing been signed. There's been no pre-contract agreement. Jack Santini, when he went to the Euros, it was Euros 2004, the one at Greece one. He signed a pre-contract agreement with Spurs, didn't he? And he was the Spurs manager there. So these things happen, but we haven't had that with the FAI. So nothing is. You'd imagine that's who they're going after, but clearly nothing has been agreed because there's nothing we signed. You can get a manager to sign a pre-contract agreement.
Yeah, you can. It reminded me actually the Paddy Power kind of parody thing today. That was quite good, where they were discussing the manager and saying, the FAI headquarters, as if they won't have to pay someone until September. Yeah. That was quite funny.
I did see that. It was very funny, actually. Moving on. Viper Higgins, how you doing, Viper? I wouldn't be surprised if the FAI somehow bringing Robbie Keane before September. Never say never. Paul Brown, our use of Sammy Smolix is awful. Banging goes to Blackburn and he plays out of position for us, for fuck's sakes. Yep, he's a number 10. He should be playing behind the striker. The thing is, though, is that the opposition that we're playing against is high-end opposition, and Portugal are one of the best teams in the world, ranked 6. We played 26th in the world, or 20th in the world, Hungary, and Belgium, and of course Switzerland. That you're not really going to be able to implement. They're tough games. This is where you want your Latvias, your Lithuanians. No offense to them, to sort of build up the confidence, get the team plan together, and yet you're playing just top end. You're trying to actually put out fires than build a house kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going on there. Jim Bear, how you doing, Jim? The FAI can hire Big Sam Allardyce as long as he brings Natalie Pike, his
co-host
with him. It'll be like Trap and his translator all over again. Something to distract us from boring football.
Manuela,
she follows me on Twitter. Just thought I'd say that. I asked her if she'd come on.
I bet you followed her around Dublin a few times.
Do you know, she actually bumped into me.
She's lovely, Manuela. She was lovely with the fans, and she was great crack.
Yeah, she got it. She got it. I don't mean that in a dirty way. Foley 5. How you doing, Foley? Evening, lads. How you doing, Foley 5? Good man. Glad you're what I believe you're a man. Anyway, Viper Higgins, what starting 11 would you guys go if all players are fit? They love throwing these ones in, don't they? The Raw faithful.
Big question. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's very hard.
Because of systems and everything, isn't it? I think obviously Kelleher and goal. Amabomadeli, and I'd probably go with a flat. Let's just say 4-4-2, right? Just for argument's sake, so we don't get too bogged down. So what, left back? Manning.
I'll be honest. I still go Robbie Brady. I think
you go Robbie Brady. Still Robbie Brady.
I still would. Yeah, if you're gonna hit about 4, yeah, I think there's no one else coming.
The problem, Manning. It's his lack of pace. That's the problem. He's a long shot merchant, but it's his lack of pace. And, he seems to fall out with coaches. Not fall out with coaches, not behavioural issue, but they seem to go off him. Centre back, Amabamidele and Collins, I would go with. Right back would be Festy. We need him in there. Dara Shea, he can also slide in as a right back, can't he? Or is that left back?
Yeah.
Right
Dara
back.
Shea can go left back as well. Yeah,
they're quite versatile. To be fair.
I think we're going to complicate if we go and try and go 4-4-2. If we did it off the same formation, so the
4-4-2 complicated.
Well, no, I'm saying that because out of our current squad, you can kind of put them in where they are now, can't you? The three. So the three centre backs, if you're going to play, which three centre backs would you play? Mine are O'Shea, Collins, and probably Jacob Ryan, to be honest. Not Amabamidele. Not yet.
Okay.
Any three of them. And then right wing back, I'd go Ogbeni for the width there. Robbie Brady on the left. I think you're going to have Smallbone and Josh Cullen are going to be in there now. Obviously, that's leaving out Malumbi.
Well,
then you're going to have Sammy Schmodix, and I'm still going to go with Evan Ferguson up top.
No, I would have Knight. I would have I'd have Cullen sitting. I'd have Knight, Smallbone in front of him, and I would have Smodix in front behind. I'd have Smodix behind Ferguson and probably Tom Cannon or Troy Parrott.
Yeah, it's a really hard question, to be honest, because it's just where we are at the moment, and a lot of injured players come back in.
Have I done an Alan Hansen? Have I gone with an extra player? Haven't I? Yeah, I have. Sorry. No, I play Smolix in behind.
Steve Staunton did that when he was Walsall manager.
Sorry, I play Smolix in behind Evan Ferguson. There you go. Because you have the pace and you have the big man up top.
Yeah, I don't think we've answered that very well at all. Sorry, but we will do a post. We'll do some posts on our socials to say if everyone was available, this is what I'd go with.
Yeah,
and a formation of our choice.
There you go. God, if you want your football knowledge, lads, come here. we got you sorted. Craig, Ronaldo scored both goals off Scales, didn't he? Scales is just not good enough, in my opinion. It looked like he was trying to play cricket out there. It was terrible against Greece as well. I was there. That is true, actually. Didn't all three goals come down that side? They came down the left side, didn't they? The first one, although Smolix didn't pick up his man and Scales wasn't well. I mean, he was kind of so short there a bit. And then, the two goals from Ronaldo and we're on that side. They all came down the left-hand side. Just saying. Connor, all O'Shea had to do was rewatch the game versus Portugal away under Kenya and literally copy the game plan. The plan was perfect that day. Just got beaten by two special moments. Yeah, by the ref. Craig, I think we do a lot better against Portugal if we have Amabamidele, Ogbeni, and Ferguson as well. And Collins. There are a lot of players missing, to be fair. And they didn't have anyone missing. Craig, unfortunately, in the Wexford League, we have to pay a £5, not £2, as James McClean alluded to earlier. Pater Dugan always thought McLean was full of himself when it came to playing for Ireland. He always thought he was more Irish than anyone else in the team and should be picked for that reason. Dave McGuinness, you did call it on Kenny, to be fair. The Malta-Norway games exposed what a shambles he was. Thank you. See, David, I'm getting loads of compliments here. New away strip worn in Portugal, but zero mention of it on a Custody website, let alone on sale there. Further evidence of what a shit show they are. That's a brilliant point. New away jersey launched. Oh, well, I don't know. Is it on sale?
No, it's not even launched. That's a joke. You know me with my kid. I don't know. I'll see.
Hold on.
Matt might send me one if he's watching. No.
Hold on. Go on, you talk. I'll have a look.
Yeah. No, so we looked this up and we inquired on this, and you remember Nuri Nurik, who we know well, long-term listener of the show. He was the one who sent us that photo from Grafton Street of the scarves that they made with the spelling mistake. Castore is a bit of a joke at the moment, and
not the website.
We just get this wrong. We are 2 days out from the Euros taking place in Germany, and we've got new kits out. A new kit out, and kids in Ireland will be running around with Mbappe. I'm not saying and Ronaldo or Bruno Fernandes, whoever else they want to follow. They'll be doing that, and we should be launching this at different times to them big nations in a way if we're trying to promote Irish football, but we don't get it right. They've still not got it right with
Still
their
not out.
promotion and merchandise. You can't get it yet. We've also spoke. I mean, actually, we had a conversation in the Vero and the little square there. I think I took a photo, and it wasn't the greatest photo in the world, but I think we looked at. I said to you, didn't I, about shirts on show? How many different Ireland shirts there were. Now, okay, we're talking about a team from like 88, for example, was the earliest one we could see. But just amount of like different manufacturers, different shirts.
Yep.
Give a shout out actually to lads in the new shirt. And I didn't get a photo of them, but it was brilliant. And there must be one on social media somewhere. And it didn't have Sky on the front of it. It just had Dodgy Box.
And
Good
Fire
effort.
Stick.
Well done, lads. Fair play.
Well done. If you're watching this, well done. If you know the person, let them know. I was going to ask for a picture, but I felt a bit in that. The orange away shirt, it's not bad looking. Not out, not available. Couldn't buy it anywhere there. They had a promo video for it. Why would you have... Because I was thinking, we're going to be wearing white against Portugal. It's Portugal, the colour clash. Why wouldn't you have that on sale? Who makes that decision? I mean, what is going on here?
Ridiculous. And the video was shot ages ago because Evan Ferguson's in it. And
well, that looked photoshopped, to be honest.
Just absolutely shite.
It's so.
It just shows where we are. It's a really good point, Nuri Nurik. Thanks for that.
Yep. Yeah. No, great point there. Dave McGuinness, Kenny should dismiss it, responding to James McClean, that is, telling the press he's going to talk about distractions from his job at Pats, and that's what he should be focusing on, the job at Pats. The Ireland job will haunt him forever if he feels every bit of criticism that comes his way. 2 wins from 7 with Pats, all too familiar. Michael Loomis, how you doing, Michael? Good goal with the FEI and get rid of the useless Kenny way. That is now a shay. Clueless managers have the team playing worse and worse every time. Get rid of anything to do with Kenny. Dave McGuinness, Connor saying John O'Shea should have used Kenny's playbook. Imagine telling a player coach with League and Champions League medals to do as Kenny does. Wow. Just wow. well, we'll keep you up on that one, folks. Paul Brown, how about Paul Lambert? That's a one out of the blue there a little bit, Paul Lambert.
Did I not say that on a post?
You probably did, Martin, but no one listens
on the show recently. I did, yeah. And he was asked, and I was listening to a podcast with him, and it was in I think he's in 442 actually this month, a big Q&A thing with him. Yeah, he's an interesting one. Yeah, he done really well, didn't he? Yeah, I did talk about him on the show because I was talking about when he was with Roy Keane as his assistant and how that came about, and how they refused to shake hands with Mourinho when he tried to come up. That was it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I saw a comment there. Here we go. Kevin O. James McClean getting new Nat shoes. He was struggling to control them on TV. I was thinking that's a John O'Shea experience one, wasn't it? It's like, how do you get experience? You could see like his teeth trying to do something else. They look lovely, by the way. Good man, Kevin O. Foley 5. I wonder if McLean is trying to set himself up as a Duffy type. Yeah, probably is. Except Duffy did it with panache. Had a bit of fun with, didn't he? Kevin O. I switch over to this channel as soon as the Ireland match is finished. This is where the real analysis takes place. Good man, Kevin O. This is the voice of the fans. This is the voice of the fans. This is what we do. We have a bit of crack with you guys. We go to the games. We watch the games. But we love talking to you guys. And we're the only platform, Martin, aren't we, that literally gives you your say. You just come on here. You are the guests, Yeah. We're the custodians of it. You're the guest. When we do it live, you are the guest on it. And you have your say. And I think it's brilliant.
It is, yeah, look, we're very lucky as well. We've got, obviously, different contacts within the FAI and with different supporters clubs. But, we do believe with the voice of the fans. And, I think the FAI kind of gauge a lot of interest from and the kind of where we are in Irish football at sometimes as well, because we know they watch it. They're very supportive of us at the pod as well, but we are independent, so we like to be brutally honest, really. And we know we've probably said things about players and upset them, and and I know I've spoken about meeting players' families and stuff, and I was thinking, oh my God, what did we say on the last one about him? But that's just where it is, and if a footballer's getting upset, and this is a little bit relevant to the James McClean argument, all right, he's not a player now, but if he's getting upset by opinions of fans just because we haven't kicked the ball, it's ridiculous, because look at the percentage of the people, but you've got to have opinions, and if we're all wrong, we don't know what we're really looking at, apparently, because we never kicked the ball at a high level. We're the ones paying money to go and watch them and to follow them around the world, and what we want to see is the best for Irish football, basically, and we've supported them in really shit performances, in all honesty. And when them players have struggled, we've always been behind them. Is one thing I would like to get across to any player who believes they get slagged off and stuff and criticised. And
I don't get that whole thing of having to go against people that run football fan pages. That's the fucking arrogance, the hubris of the man. I'm sorry, but that did piss me off. And I don't think I actually, I don't think that I probably dealt with it when it came out. He said all Irish fan page people that run them are fannies, whatever. Fuck off. Like, we spend a hard-earned money. We open up, we give the fans a platform here. It's growing all the time. It grows with every window because people are starting to realize now, oh, here's the platform. We can have our say. We'll talk about it. And, the FAI watch. They do watch. They do listen. And, that's what we do here. And we do because we love this. We love doing this. And, I just thought, yeah, this really angered me. I'll end up going on one of your rants, Martin. So I'm not going to. We'll continue. We still got lots of comments coming in there. Still over 2,000 people watching this. It's brilliant. Dave McGuinness, the fan page requests were pathetic, and I agree. However, on this issue, he was asked. He had to reply with his honest opinion, and agreed. He was lucky to get those caps. The fan page attacks. I'm probably a bit of auto correct there. He was lucky to get those. Look, yeah, give your opinion, but I don't know. I think you should be a bit tactful. I think, and as well, David, you said that the job will haunt Stephen Kenny. It will haunt him. That was his dream job. And yeah, he fucked it up, But when you're going out and you got somebody on the national telly who's basically he's flashing his eyelashes, John, buddy, old pal, you should get the job. Oh, by the way, I could do a job for you as well. And he's kind of like he did come out, didn't he, on Instagram? He said, "Oh, I'm not having to go, Stephen Kenny." Well, yeah, you are. And he's not even, he's been kind of sly about it as well. I thought, so he wasn't that honest, David. No, to be fair, like he did say, "Oh, I don't mean to put the boot to Stephen Kenny." Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You're bitter because he dropped you from the squad because you're playing the 4th tier of English football, and then he went up on a massive rant, slagging off the League of Ireland, whatever. And, saying people, they want League of Ireland players in ahead of me. I don't think anyone wanted League of Ireland players in ahead of him. I think Jack Byrne was the only one I could think of, and maybe the Bows goalkeeper for a bit. Talbot, is it James Talbot? Brian Talbot? Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna get more abuse over that. I got loads of texts over last time I fucked it up. But anyway, Dave McGuinness, we need players to be honest about what went on behind the scenes during Kenny's tenure. I will. Books will come out. Euro 2024 kicks off tomorrow. Seeing bar clips of Scottish fans having great crack in Munich further underlines what disappointment we aren't there. Very true, Dave McGuinness. He acted like an infant with the fan page comments on the FA pages are a vital. All the FA pages, fan pages.
All the fan pages,
yeah. Are a vital component of the modern fan experience and participation in supporting your team, except Kenny's kids. Good man. Jesus, I don't even watch that. I don't even check that out anymore. On radar as it go. Paul Fitzsimmons, good man, David. By the way, I do appreciate that. I know you're a long time listener, and we don't agree on things, but you know what? That's what it's about, Martin, isn't it? It's about opinions. We can have a fucking ding dong on here, and then we can have a pint afterwards. That's what it's all about. I love doing this. I really do. Paul Fitzsimmons. O'Shea deserves respect for stepping into the breach 100%, but there's no way on earth that he should be appointed on a permanent basis. James Agnew, second your comment about John O'Shea acting with class. Good man, James. He's been very dignified as the FAI have basically strung him along. Not fair on him, to be honest. He needs more respect and he's very passionate about the job and Irish football. James, one of our writers over on lansdowneroar.ie. Fantastic writer as well, actually. lansdowneroar.ie. Good man, James. I'm getting all the comments, getting all the plaudits here today, Martin. I'm liking it. Dave McGuinness, in terms of John O'Shea's performance, he's been a class act and very professional. Other than his lack of senior management experience, he has all the factors. Well, as James McClean tried to say, how do you get experience? Just saying. Kevin O, yeah, I hate Ronaldo worshipping by fellow players. Was glad to see no Irish player begging him for his jersey. I just got pictures of him, didn't they? We get to get more engagement on their socials and raise their profiles on about the fan pages. Sorry, Mark, go on.
No, this is obviously about the players, posting that they, all near enough featuring Ronaldo and things. Yeah, I mean, look, it was very good to see no Irish player. I did look for that, to be honest. I'm a busy fucker in the stands, and I was thinking, what are they doing now? Who's running over to him? Because they all want that moment. And yeah, you could see it. I mean, look, I don't begrudge any player, professional footballer, if you're on in like basically he's like the Maradona, isn't he, of the modern era with Messi, of course. And if you're on the pitch with them, you want to have a bit of interaction with the guy. And I don't have a problem with it. And it, I think it just shows that they're not. I'm not dismissing them being like fans, but they recognise greatness, and yeah, they have done it for their profiles and stuff. But I think you've got to be proud of looking back when you've made it onto a pitch against one of the best players to ever play football, and we saw the greatness with the goal, of course, as I said, and what he's achieved in the game, and that's why they've done it. But I thought it was quite funny, and I don't really have a problem with it ultimately, because I think even if you look back now, a lot of players who played against Maradona, they all mention now when they're doing their punditry and stuff that the best player they had played on the pitch was Maradona. That'll be the question that a lot of these Irish lads are going to be asked in years to come, who they played against, and that's it. They're going to say Messi or Ronaldo, and if they've had the opportunity to do it.
I've seen them both in action. Quite privileged too.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly. That's the same. That's my point, though, isn't it? Like we've seen some of the best players in the world, and we saw them with Brazil when they came as well. So, that's it.
Yep. No, fair enough. Dave McGuinness, let's do points of dinner in the Devonshire. Be rude not to. Good man, David. Walter Will Warinka Bing. Okay. Kerry FC third straight home win. That's fantastic to see. I don't really get to follow the League of Ireland as much, just real life getting in the way. But it's fantastic, isn't it? They weren't around till a couple of years ago, and now they're starting. They had it was the first season as a football club. Now they're stringing them together. Fantastic. I love this. I genuinely think that's brilliant. Kevin, now we matched Portugal in qualifying for World Cup 2002. Frightening to go from class over 2 decades. That's because they've moved forward, Kevin, and we have stood still. Actually, we've gone backwards over those 2 decades, have we, Martin?
Well, just football's progressed, though, isn't it? I mean, what is frightening as well, and I know I sound like a proper Ronaldo fanboy saying this, but he played in Euro 2004. 20 years later, he's at another Euros. Probably may score it as well. I mean, that's incredible as well. He was 17 years old then, and that's a player though. Look at it. We didn't know him in 2002, and he's a player now who's come through, and that is the golfing class that sums it up. I mean, all right, not every player is Ronaldo, but they had a 17-year-old coming through at that World Cup that they didn't even qualify for. So, that was it.
No,
yeah.
I mean. Like we don't need, only now the League of Ireland 20 years later is getting cooking again, and there's no facilities, there's no bars saying I'm not putting the boot in. I'm not having to go to the clubs, I'm not having to go at the League of Ireland, but it's just been poorly run. Only now we're starting to see what actually people are really interested. It's doing really well, and now is the time. It's an important moment for that league. We need to get the money and facilities in there to grow on that. But that's how far behind we are. We're 20, and we could be 30 years behind a lot of these teams. You look at teams like Luxembourg, and we lost to them obviously 1-0 home. No one, people don't shut up about that, even though we beat them 3-0 away. But anyway, under Kenny, they had a plan. That was on the back of a 10-year plan that they had. They put money, a very wealthy country, Luxembourg, they put money into systems. They had more coaches than us, I believe, at the time, just better facilities. And we just haven't done anything. We've just stood still while everyone just goes forward.
Well, we stood still, though, from 88 as well, if you want to argue as well. I will correct myself there. I just said I realised that Portugal didn't qualify for 2002. Of course, they did. And I should remember that. They qualified, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Jeez,
yeah, but I said it earlier. I did.
Holland didn't. Sorry, Netherlands.
No. Netherlands. Yeah.
Sebastian Knowlton, just name Roger and Podge co-managers and be done with it. That'd be interesting, at least. Robbie Bonfield, Ireland's third jersey that was introduced is a cracking top. It should have been held and released as a new way for this one for this year. The white one is just way too similar to last year's. It's ridiculous. Oh, this one here. Thank you very much. Is it the top? Or was it the man wearing the top, Robbie? Let's be honest here. James Agnew, interesting point. only the FAI would launch a new white away jersey ahead of a Nations League campaign where all the other team home kits, England, Greece, and Finland, are white jerseys. He's right. He's right, isn't he? England, Finland, Greece.
Yeah. Yeah, mad.
You see, that's why you need to head over to lansdowneroar.ie and read some articles, because James writes these articles and he picks out the most fascinating topics and writes about them and sees. See, that's the thing, and as well, like with James McClean, going on what he was saying, you don't have to play the game professionally to see things in a sport that other people can't see. Some of the best football commentators I've seen actually don't have a platform. They're people you sit down in a pub, and the knowledge of the game and the vision and the way they can see certain things. They never they played the game, but they never played at a professional level, and they don't have any sort of platform. And anyway, sorry, I'm annoyed at James McClean, but yeah, that's a brilliant point, James. That's why you need to head over to lansdowneroar.ie. Walter will Warinka Bing, Ryan Kellernew, number 9 for Ireland. I presume he's a Kerry player, is he?
Yeah,
he must be. Foley 5, Kenny St. Pat's beat Shamrock Rovers tonight. Good stuff. See, it's happening for Kenny. There we go. Yeah, he is a Kerry FC player. Ryan Kelleher. Latch Echo. Football fan pages need to get on with what they do best and not react to McLean criticism. Enjoy the hairy hands type comments. Jamie says Brea going up. Darren says, hi lads, how are we? Survived the 24-hour challenge. Some clubs were extremely good to us over 5k races. Well done to you guys. 24-hour trip, all the League of Ireland grounds, over £5,000 race for charity. Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant stuff. Well done to everyone involved. And Craig, the last comment of the night. Before I said it, got 2,300 people watching this live, Martin. Just thought I'd say that. It is fantastic for
there's a pun there.
What did you say?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Terrible. Craig, I really just think all of it comes down to GAA marketing is better than FEI marketing. The GAA is more exciting as a young lad because no matter how shit you do in a season, you will get to a County Cup Shield final. That creates the love for the GAA as a young lad, and that's why, in my opinion, so many young lads with conservative parents pick GAA over soccer. I hate that word, soccer. Another point.
The only thing is that's the big, like that. Just on the point of GAA, and like we've had a conversation with this before, and we've also talked about the betting levies and taxes and stuff, and how that gets distributed in Ireland, and obviously the government giving us money and pitiful amounts. And we've seen that great article today with the athletics, because everyone's jumping all over them now and doing fantastic, winning golds and silvers in the Europeans and stuff, but the amount of money that goes into it compared to horse racing and dog racing, when, and it's that's why the FAI have to get their house in order to be able to get some more of this money. The GAA have got it absolutely tied down. Every, parish has got a GAA club or pitch, haven't they? So that's just it. It's more community feel with it, and that's what you're battling against.
Yeah, 100%. Such a small island, you're battling rugby, GAA, athletics now. And it's an island that produces some amazing athletes and all different codes. And well done to the athletics team, by the way, winning silvers, winning golds, brilliant stuff. And the final comment actually, Craig says, I said soccer, so I'm talking about GAA. Sorry. It's all right, Craig, but just mind your language here, yeah? No swearing on this podcast. And the last one of the night, Dave McGuinness, brilliant coverage this week, fellas. Thank you very much, David. And thank you very much to our Raw faithful watching us. If you're new to the podcast, please hit subscribe. Give us a like. It really, really, really does help. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel. Scan that QR code if you're watching on the video. That gives you to a link tree that sends you to our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter. And also, please head over to lansdowneroar.ie to read some fascinating articles. You got Connor over there, you got James, you got Nick, you got loads of articles, loads of different writers over there. But yeah, that's the end of the June window. Back to
brilliant. I loved it. Do follow us on Twitter as well. Look, I've got it on my handle there, LRaw_pod, and my own one if you want to follow me as well. That's
He
See
would want
some
to
of
follow
my
you.
crazy posts about Enfield Town and all sorts, and
No one follows Martin. Martin does
horse
all the
racing
following.
and all that stuff. But yeah, do
Martin
give us
does
a
all the
follow.
following. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're on Insta as well, are we? I don't know. We're going to be sorting all that out anyway soon. So
Yes.
there's lots of events coming up as well. So yeah, we really do thank you for your support.
Your support has been absolutely fantastic and really genuinely means the world to us. And you know, it's been a mad couple of weeks. But listen, that is it. We're going to crack on. We're going to have another episode on. Well, this is the Friday episode, isn't it? We should be back on Monday with another episode, unless something mad happens. Then we might do a reactive live. That's how we do.
The Euros. We've got the Euros coming up.
Oh, we got the
Dave. Who's going
Euros,
to win the Euros, Dave? I meant to ask you this. Who's going to win it?
Portugal.
All right, we're going to get 100,000 comments now. We don't want anyone's opinions on this. We've got to go. I think Portugal will win it. Yeah, I do.
Portugal
I
win it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Fabulous
written
team.
that Ronaldo will win it, and it will be then it opens up the debate again. Messi or Ronaldo.
I had actually done my research on the flight over to Portugal, and I was watching videos on them, and it wasn't just because what they did to us. I knew we were in serious trouble when I watched all those videos and how they play and the versatility. Phenomenal team, just frightening. Like I'm not just saying it because they gave us an absolute hammering. They're a really good side, really, really good team. And I suppose unless Bobby Martinez fucks it up for them, I can't see them. I can't see. But we will actually for the Euros. We will be doing podcasts throughout that, so we will be covering the Euros. Try to do 3 podcasts a week, and if we do have something happen mad, we tend to react to. We tend to do live as well. Anyway. We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Martin, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. I'm David Dunn. He is Martin Prendergast. We are out of here. Good night. God bless. And come on, you boys are green or black. That's what I'm wearing. Good night.